Hey guys, today I'll be showing you how to sculpt the character in Blender. What we're going to do is, firstly, we're just going to get our references in. So there's a few, for this exercise, I want to make this little Froggo, this Spaceman Froggo, and to get our there's a few ways to get our references in. I'll be going a little bit faster than usual, assuming that you do know the hotkeys from the first session. So we can firstly put our reference image this way, where we just drag and drop it in. There is another way to do it where we can actually open up another kind of window over here, or somewhere, anywhere, and go to change the viewport up at the top left to image editor, and we can also just drag and drop the image over there. You will be getting this image during class, and this little Froggo dude. I think this guy's really cute. So yeah, that's a few ways to do it, but there's also one more way, which I personally enjoy to do, and that would be involving to download a third-party app, and I'll show you guys in the next way to do it is using this application called PureRef. It's free to use. It's really nice. Helps you move board and stuff really quickly. And what it looks like once you download it is you can just go and download it on pureref.com, and what it looks like is this. This allows you to put in all your reference images in, change your thing, and plant it onto the screen so you have it always up. And I also have some reference to some anatomy which I would find. This is just a quick way to do it. Usually in a project, I would, in a bigger project, I would make more of this. Basically, I'll put more images on here or use it on a second screen. But yeah, those are the few ways to do it. And to lock this over here, we just need to pin it down. So that is how we can get our reference image in. And I feel like this is my favorite way to do it anyway. So choose whichever way you like, whichever way you want to put your reference image in. Cool. Because we only have so long with this, we're going to be using base meshes, which we can also download nicely on the Blender website. So we go to blender.org. This will take us to the home page. If we go to downloads, we have the option to download. But if we go to demo files, we can go and download this human base mesh, and you just click on it and you just download it, and you have all the base mesh to work off of, which is really nice. So after that, to actually allow you to get onto the base mesh, once you've extracted it, unzipped it, whatever you may need to do, you need to go under, we just take this away quickly, we need to go to preferences, and on the preferences we need to press the plus button, and then we need to path it to wherever you saved your human base mesh to. After you've done that, that should automatically be all good. And what we want to do here is actually go into the library, but before that I'm just going to quickly make some space by deleting everything I see that is so it's completely empty. And I'm going to go drag the window out just a slightly just to see what I'm actually truly doing. And I'm going to go to Asset Browser, and it should appear here. If you're having trouble finding this, let me know. But what we want to do here is we want to drag and drop the body male primitive stylized in, and then after that we want to go to this little drop down. Don't do anything to it. We want to make this not an instance, so we want this to be editable, and then we also want to change this to 0 so it's dead on the center, like so. And now we have a body primitive in our workflow. After that, we can just join these guys up quickly. Join right, and now we have the bigger space. So with this base figure, we want to delete some of the humanoid features of it because we want to change it to more of a frog guy. So we want to go delete the ears, for example, the nose, the bridge, and I'll keep the. I'm gonna keep. I won't keep the eyes, but I might keep the eyelids. Wait, let me see. They're all connected. I'll keep the eyelid, but I won't keep the eye. Oh, never mind. I just got rid of everything. 1 second. Let me just. What we have to do is probably unparent this. So clear parents. Oh. So now I should be able to just delete the rest of these. Oh. I'm just gonna delete, duplicate that quickly. Maybe that will help. Nope. Let me just move that out to the side and clear parent. Let me just quickly figure out what's going. So just for quick reference, we did have one out here, and we probably have another thing out here. But to get rid of the parent, we just have to press Alt P, clear, and keep transformation. This will allow us to keep just the upper eyelid, and we can delete the rest of everything else. Same goes with this one. So clear transformations, keep and delete the rest. There we go. We have still a humanoid kind of guy. I'm gonna move these eyelids over to the side a little bit so that they're not in the way for now. And I'm just gonna go and change the base shapes around so to match this frogs. And just for reference, when I'm doing this, I would also look making like a humanoid frog kind of character. I would also just go and find some references of frogs that I enjoy the look of. As you can see, and reference basically, as you can see, frogs have like a big stomach and stuff, big chest. These are some good images, and I will try to conform my shape towards that. And what we want to do here is we have a nice base of a humanoid, and what we want to do here is basically just go to sculpt mode. And this is Blender 4.3, so all the brushes are down here, which are a little bit annoying. So what you need to do is just hover over them and see what they are. But basically we want this one. Grab is a really good tool to make a good start on making the silhouette of our character. And a few hotkeys you need to know before that is the square brackets allow us to change the brush size, but also pressing F and sliding out also does the same. Shift F does the strength. So yeah, so what we want to using that as our knowledge, we're going to go and go make our guy a bit bigger, more frog-like and stuff. We're going to start from the hips, as this will give us good perspective. And then if we want to change, as you can see, I've been trying to edit the middle torso. If we can't go to the middle torso to edit, we have to press Alt Q, hover over it and press Alt Q, and you get highlight, and it will highlight it. And now you can probably move it out and stuff. We keep on doing this until we're happy with the base shape. So I've done some base shapes of it. I just made it a bit thicker and stuff. This is where I'm at, but I also want to change kind of the head proportion. So what I want to do is use this kind of gap, this opening, as his kind of mouth. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to make the brush a little bit bigger. I'm going to change it to like his mouth basically, and slowly get a little bit tighter and just overall more frog-like, like so. And basically here, you really want to focus on the silhouette and the base shapes. So for example, this head is more flatter in this image. So I will flatten it out basically, essentially, like so. And the neck is huge, by the way. So I'm just going to make it huge. There we go. That's looking closer. Make sure you check every side. I think the chest needs to be a bit bigger because it's a frog guy. Of course, you can make whatever character you want. But I feel like frogs have really big chests because that's where they breathe and do that. It's like rubbery kind of material. My guy might look a bit weird, but I'm just trying to match the image as close as possible and basically get a frog out of this guy, like a froggy man, but maybe his chest is a bit too huge. But yeah, take your time with this and mess around with it, and eventually you'll get a nice base shape that you really enjoy. A few things I want to show you guys whilst we're here is how I would add the eye back in. So for me, I would add the eye by going back to object mode, Shift A, mesh, add a new primitive, and it's gonna be a sphere. I think it's this one. This one's good, and I'm just gonna put that guy right where I think the eye should be. That's a bit huge, and that might still be a bit too huge. Somewhere around there. Look in all angles just to see you get it right. If you are struggling, get the cursor in. Does that look like a frog? That looks a little bit too big, I think. Looks a bit too... and then I'm going to put a mirror modifier on there. Now we have two eyes, but we need to... I think that's the correct size, but I think we need to go back into sculpt mode. To mess around with how this nose formulates basically. I'm doing this quickly, but you can take as long as you want on these on this step because it's very, very important that you get the nice silhouette for this guy. We can also, if you want to put nostrils on this guy, we can go back to edit mode and find a nice specimen. I think it should be here, these faces right here. These two looks like the best, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go extrude and right click and extrude inwards. Okay, I got my nose holes, nostrils, how I like them, and I'll just put them into position now, like so. Maybe they're still a bit too big, but you know, whatever you enjoy basically. And to put in the eyelids, we have them over here, as you remember. All we're gonna do is move them across, and like the rest of it, we're gonna shape them in a way where they go around the shape. Just gonna put them that way a little bit. And I will push these guys outwards. I think I'm going to push it like over here, make it a little bit bigger so I can see what's going on. And from here, I will go into sculpt mode and just push these guys so that it looks convincing enough as a eyelid. It will need, you might need to fiddle around with it a little bit, but otherwise you should be fine once you have one ready. And then once you're happy with it, this is not great. I'm just showing you the steps what you would need to do afterwards just so you guys can get along with it. But once you're happy with your shape, I'm not too happy, but you take your time to do it. I'm just gonna quickly convert all of these guys to a mesh. So that means that they're all ready to go. And we're going to keep these all organized. So this one will be stylized, the blockout, frog blockout. And we're going to just disable that. And we're going to duplicate the collection and name this one frog sculpt. And I just want to keep one thing separated, which are the eyelids. So I'm going to go into edit mode, select them, press P, and then selection. So now I have the outlet, the main body and the the eyeballs separated. Once you've separated that out, we can select the body, go back into sculpt mode, and we can essentially, it's already in weird colors, but it's fine. We can go to the remesher. So if you press R, this will give you a grid. And what we want is probably 0.05 or smaller. I did 0.03. And then we're going to press Control R to remesh. And this will allow us to be able to sculpt on this guy. So as you can see, they're all it's basically combined our mesh together. And if you are getting annoyed about this, we can just quickly change the material of this. So we're going to go with new, and then under viewport display, let me see where it is. Viewport display, we can change it to a nice green color, so it's all kind of similar color. That's really weird that it's still like that, but we'll go with it for now. But what we want to do here is we want to use some of the brushes. I recommend clay strips and clay and draw sharp to do this. But essentially we want to merge all of these guys up, and this is where the references for our of our bulky man come in handy, because this is where we're going to do our details in. So one thing that I forget all the time in Blender is we need to apply our transformations. So if we ever move the shape or anything, we just need to apply the transformations, and now it should sculpt very well. We got it. So nice. This is going inwards, so if you want to go outwards, so you have to hold control, depends on the situation, or just press minus over here, and now we can get in our broad strokes of our pectorials. That's a bit too big. Of course, if you guys have tablets, it's easy. I'm doing this on the mouse currently. And after you get that kind of shape, you want to smooth it out and continue on adding and deleting. And we also want to make sure we put on our symmetry. Nice. Before we start doing that. So you can see we're just smoothing it out, putting in the details as we see them, smoothing them out. And we're going to take a long time doing this. It will be a long process. This is where we get our finer details in. So this will take a few more moments, a little bit longer, but we should be able to get a good shape out of it. But basically continue on with that until you're happy, guys. So just a quick update, guys. I've did a bit more. I changed up the shapes. I took a bit more time to do it. Things I need to note that you might need to note down is just in general how I changed the fingers and toes to have little bit blobby bits. So it feels like it just feels like it's a frog more humanoid frog. I just went over it with more detail and just a little bit more time, and I got this out of shape out of it. So yeah, feel free if you want to use a tablet. It does help a lot, but it's not necessary. So we now got a really buff frog, And what we want to do next is make some clothes for this guy. So once you're happy with your sculpt and detail, you're probably wondering, why did I put so much details when this guy's going to have some clothes on, right? But why it's important to have a underlying structure is so we know if what's underneath the clothes and how the clothes will fit better towards this guy's shape, basically, essentially. And that's really important. So, but just before we get onto the clothes, just a quick overview on what we basically have done so far is, firstly, we imported a base mesh, which has allowed us to get off a quick start. We've changed the silhouette of the base mesh to make it more frog-like, and then once we were happy with it, we got up a reference of a body structure. Of course, you can always have a big body structure, a muscular body structure, a thin body structure, a fat body structure, however you guys enjoy. And then afterwards we can put some clothes on this guy. So that will be the next step, and I'll show you guys multiple methods to be able to do that. Typically, to make clothes is we usually have a retopologized model, and we extract from that model different faces and edge loops and whatnot and geometry to be able to formulate clothing for that guy. But however, as this is like a short class, I won't go over how to retopologize the guy to make better edge loops. As you can see, if I go to edit mode on this man, the model will be super dense. And if we want to make a glove, for example, we will have to extract all of that and more. Essentially, we have to extract all of this and make a glove out of it, which will work, but eventually it would crash the system, as we're making duplicates of, like, this is already let's see the poly count here. Let's see, it's like 21,000 21,000 polys. So if we had two of these, it'll be 41,000 and 41,000, and we already have a set of that already, so it'll be 80,000 polys, which will eventually crash the system. So it's a good idea after once you're happy to retopologize, but we are going to do this in a rough way. So we will in fact be doing a bit of a half and half method of extracting from high poly mesh, which is unadvised, and also redoing just in general, just making a new block out basically for the guy. So let's get going. But just to reiterate, it is typically normal to retopologize this guy, which is the act of making the poly count lower, but also keeping the base shape and silhouette still into place. Yeah. So to start this guy off, we're gonna go press Shift A, add a new cube, and resize it into his shape, and move it into position. Put a subdivision surface modifier onto it, and make it a bit bigger. Just scale it into the correct size. I would say something around there. And then we will just slowly go into edit mode and extrude upwards these faces and make a block out basically, essentially. And we'll make this a bit bigger, make the head a bit smaller, and just in general wrap the geometry, try to wrap as best as possible the geometry of this guy as best as possible. Of course, this is better if we have the base material, but I mean the base, like if we retopologize first. However, as we're doing this in quite a limited session, it is best to just kind of do it this way so you can get the general grasp of how we should do it. Just a quick update on how's it going for me. Basically, I'm just pushing out some things using this perspective tool. Once you click on an edge and press G, you can scroll up and down, and this will allow you to fine-tunely have a soft selection, so you can get the pieces that you want out and not intrude with anything. But basically, we're just trying to make it so that that's fine. We're just making it so that it doesn't overlap with our guy and has its own space. Sometimes we need to add new geometry, such as we will need one more here. So we're gonna put edge loop there, and then I'll just drag this one out like so. This one's clipping a little bit, and I'll go put it like that. And as we can see, the guy is coming along. After that, all we have to do is things like making this a bit longer. So there's a few ways to do it. I can just stretch it out first, look it on all angles, put it on X-ray mode up here, stuff like that. Loads of ways to go about this. Put a edge loop in the middle here and move it along. And that's just general process. And we can put more edge loops in with Control R. Yep. And scale it down a little bit, like so. If we don't want that soft selection, we can make it smaller, or we can just turn it off using O or clicking the button here. But as you can see now, this side is getting a bit flat, so we'll probably need another edge loop on the side here. So we can select that line and look at it on the side and make it push out a little bit. And this is where I'll go into X-ray mode, so I can easily just move it into position so it's nice and tight fit around this guy as best as possible. Eventually you'll probably want to get rid of the tiles here, the polygons here, so that it has a nice hole in it. And we want to, after we have made that hole, we want to put it so that it's in place, but a little bit more editing and the jumpsuit of this guy should be done. This one's a little bit of a quick job, but I just wanted to show you guys how I would do the next step, essentially, where I would want to put this, I would want to put some like stretches and stuff onto this clothing on the wrists and the kneecaps. But so I want to quickly move on to that. So what I want to do here is, if you use any mirror modifiers or anything, this is where you will just apply everything and apply. And now we have the suit all in one. You can also put a solidify modifier in this, just so that the clothing is thick. You can also cheat it in a way so you don't have double geometry, and do it a bit later. As you can see, that will give you an inner and outer layer, and maybe that's just too much geometry, so maybe I'll just leave that out. You could also kind of what you could do is just just go over here, select the edge loops, and just extrude inwards a little bit like so, and that will give you the same result as the same thickness, but just without as much. Well, you can only see the thickness on certain angles anyway, so this will help you out in that sense. But I'll just keep it undone for now, and because I just want to go and do a little bit of sculpting first onto the shape. So once you're here in sculpt mode, all you want to do is you want to get your grab brush and extend it just a little bit. Extend it just a little bit on the arms and the thing. And what we can do here, if we click on this one, which is called grab cloth, we can now push it up, and that will push up and give us some wrinkles, but that might have done a little bit too much, so I might go in it again. That might smooth this bit out. Maybe I'll just, oh, actually the radius is quite strong actually. I might change the strength just a little bit. But as you can see, this is how you would want to put in your wrinkles. I need to mess around with the limit because as you can see, it's huge, but I'll be back once I get a half decent result. Okay, after a bit of fiddling, this is the results that I got. It just took a little bit of time. It is coming through the skin. This is why it's important to have a good base. Because now all we have to do is just pick at it, and we should be able to push the fabric out so that slowly but surely push it out and still keep that nice wrinkle. Like so, and we get a nice result out of the close brush. Needs to be a lot more stretched out. Might need to go in with a smaller brush and just but this is 3D modeling in itself, where you're just slowly kind of just messing with it until it makes the shape that you want it to make. I'll be back once it's so at this point you can do anything with it. You can put more accessories on him, like a belt or gloves or just buttons, or like you can change his clothing completely by just you can make it into a shirt, or like split it up into pants and top and shirt by extruding and all that, but that's all up to your jurisdiction. I've shown you enough tools to allow you to be able to make whatever you want. It's just you guys need to go and discover what you truly want to make, and yeah, and just go with it basically. And yeah, feel free to ask me any questions on the way, but this is a really quick look on how to make characters and clothing as in Blender as quickly as possible. And yeah, if you have any ideas, let me know and I can help you out with that as well. But yeah, feel free to ask me any questions, and I'll see you guys on the next video.